I just think they don't know how to process their own emotions themselves because they were never taught how to process their emotions. And then when you have a child that's like trying to explain how they feel, they're taking it as disrespect immediately.
They do.
Because it's just like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I want you to hear me.
Welcome to the Coffee versus Chai podcast. I'm Furkan.
And I'm Shampa.
And that first episode, you guys blew us away with all your support. We loved all the feedback, the comments.
Yeah, it was so amazing. Like, thank you guys so much for supporting the first episode. The response rate has been so fantastic. Everybody's been so supportive. And I'm loving all the questions and all the things you guys want us to talk about. It's been so amazing so far.
Please drop down any suggestions at all for the podcast. But now we're about to get into something really juicy.
It's not that juicy. It's a little sad. This is a very sad episode.
Oh, okay. Scratch the juicy.
This is not juicy at all.
This is the sad podcast.
This is a sad episode. But trigger warning before we get into the podcast episode. We're going to be talking about a lot of sensitive topics today regarding mental health. So just know that we're giving you a warning. But yeah, let's talk about it.
Well, you've been telling me you've been feeling pretty depressed lately. Or, well, I know you've been feeling pretty depressed. What are your thoughts on all of it?
Yeah, it hasn't been lately. It's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, I just think, like, in the past few months, like, during the whole wedding process, like, I was okay. But not even really. Like, I've just been dwindling, I think, like, throughout the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
And just, like, the move to LA overall has just been so hard. And I think just, like, working at the job that I'm working at now, I've just been so miserable at it that, like, I just haven't been, like, the best version of myself here.
I don't think you've been the best version of yourself, but I think in a total amount of what you've been going through the year, you've been, I would say, fighting really hard to keep your spirits up and just try to go through the motions just so you can get through this year, from all the hecticness to a new work environment. But what do you think? Do you think if we weren't based out here in LA, maybe you wouldn't be as depressed?
Yeah. Because I wouldn't be at the job that I am right now. Because, like, when I got here, my whole thing was, okay, I'm going to do this job. I'm going to kind of sacrifice whatever time. Just do it for a year. After that year, see how it goes. And now the year is about to end. And I think, like, my time here is also about to end. Which, I mean, like, I don't regret, like, I don't regret the move. Like, I definitely wanted to move before I got married, before I did anything, because I never lived outside of New York. I never lived outside of my parents' house. So I don't regret making the decision here, but I just definitely feel like I'm not the best version of myself here. And I'm just, like, not happy with what I'm doing here. And I just miss the vibe of New York. Like, I just miss everyone. It made me, like, the move made me realize how I actually am in real life, which were so many things that I tried to ignore because I was so willing and ready to be like, I'm going to get out. And then I got out and I was like, oof, this is tough. And tough in the sense of, like, accomplishing what I want to accomplish. It's just rough because, like, there have been times where I just, like, lay on the couch all day and feel unmotivated, or, like, I let the dishes stack up after doing, like, a cooking video. But honestly, like, doing my videos are, like, the only thing that keeps me interested in being here.
I think that's literally the only thing that brings you solace nowadays, when you're just so down some days and I can tell that you're just mentally just drained from either from work or just from being away from family and friends. It just seems like you're out of it. And then when you get to creating your little videos, creating your content, it's that I see that spark come alive in you again for those moments. It's kind of been, I would I wouldn't say unfortunate, but it's been a little sad from my end because I want you to be as happy as you can be all the time, have that spark all the time. But you know, you're going through the motions, and I feel like once you're back in New York, once you're around family and friends, once you're out of this job that you don't really care for, it's going to be a lot better.
Yeah. I would say, like, what about you, like, on your end, like, because I've been so low as you being my partner, how have you dealt with it, or how do you kind of navigate, like, the days where I'm just feeling, like, terrible?
I try to be there for you. I try to support you as much as I can. And you know, it's just through the little things. I don't feel as if I do anything super crazy. I don't know if you remember, but one time I brought you flowers. That was during a really rough week, and you were like,
I
"Why
don't remember.
Yeah.
Because it's all rough weeks.
Yeah. And this week was really rough for you, and you were just going through it really bad. So I got you flowers, and I was stuck in Home Depot for an hour just trying to pick out which flower to get you.
Yeah. And I was like, where are you? And then I checked your location. Started getting paranoid.
Yeah. But I got you those flowers because I could tell just the thought or just seeing them, it might give you some comfort. So that would be one thing. Maybe just to change the pace for the day and really be there for you as a partner. Other ways that I try to be there to support you is either if I know you've had like a really tough day at work, I'll do the dishes, I'll clean up the place a bit, and sometimes I feel like you won't notice that, and it's not like I want you to notice that either, but it's just something that I know to myself, like, oh, like she's not the best she is right now, and I need to be there for her. And it doesn't need to be vocal. I don't think I need to tell you, hey, like, I'm gonna do this for you kind of thing. I think it's just more about me being there to support you.
Yeah. And I don't really like need you to be vocal about it either. Like, I don't need that like validation in that sense, because it's like I see you doing it, you know? Like, I don't think, like, I need you to be like, oh, yeah, I did this because you're feeling down. Like, I guess I'm the type of person where it's like, don't remind me that I'm depressed. Just, like, you know, just, I'm going through whatever I'm going through, but, like, you know.
I don't think I need to remind you that you're depressed, considering how throughout the day you just tell me so many times, I hate my job, I hate living here. So just those, I just know that this has been really rough for you just over here. It
has been rough, but you know, it's like a challenge that I'm glad I did overall.
Would you say, I mean, do you think other women or other girls will be discouraged just by you going through this experience, or do you think you would encourage them to do what you've done?
No, I have to encourage people to live on their own if they can. I would say I think the way I would have gone about it is that so when we were in like the 2020 2021 era, if I didn't have you, like if I was still single or something, I think at that point I would have definitely made the effort of moving out of the house and staying within New York City for sure. Like I would have really like fought for that. But like I knew we were going to get married. So like I didn't really do any pushback because I knew I was going to move out. So I kind of was coming to the end of, okay, like whatever I'm going through in my house, like it's gonna come to an end. Like it's about to wrap up here. So I would still encourage every single brown girl to move out of your house, because there's nothing like waking up and not answering to anybody.
I think the same goes for all brown boys too. Like you guys should live on your own if possible. If you're able to convince your parents, if you have really strict parents, try to convince them, or even if you just get the opportunity to live by yourself, definitely take it up, because it grows you. I've never lived by myself, and just being here with you, just the two of us, it's really matured me, or it's really like grew me to be a better adult, I would say.
Yeah, definitely for you brown boys, because Some of you guys got your moms doing everything. You got your moms, your sisters, your grandma doing everything for you.
Yeah,
especially
for sure.
this one.
Nah, they do literally
like
everything.
you realized how, like, the fact that, like, you learned to do dishes, like something simple as that, or like it was ingrained that it for me, but like you always had someone to like clean up after you.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad. Like, honestly, I don't feel bad whenever you do dishes. There's never been a time where I see the stack of dishes and I feel sympathy for you.
I mean, I don't feel like you should feel sympathy for me doing dishes. I think it's more of me as an adult. I just feel that in a marriage, especially, you know, it's not like, oh, only you should be doing these things, only I should be doing these things, and that even goes in the sense of like you cooking all the time. I would also cook, but I feel like I'm just gonna be a bad cook. I do definitely want to give it a shot. I definitely want to make you a few meals. Maybe I could start off with a little pasta, but I think
we'll see.
You know, I think that could be another form of, you know, being there to support you.
I mean, I guess
on those days that you're down, maybe
when I'm cooking, so I don't know what kind of support you'd be giving me, because that one time you burned those eggs.
There you go. You can,
and that did not give me any support. I had to scrub the pan afterwards.
You can watch the destruction in the kitchen. That's your support.
No, because then I gotta contribute and clean up too.
I would say another way that I support you is whenever you're really down and you haven't been out of the house at all, I just tell you, let's go take a walk. Yeah. Let's just get out there. Let's just get some sunlight.
But it's so hard. You can't walk here. It's so hard. Like, at least, like, when we were in New York, we can go to, like, Brooklyn Bridge Park or, like, Sheepshead Bay, Caesars Bay, and, like, just find like a boardwalk and stuff to walk around in. And then here it's like, you know, we have to drive to the place.
I think we were also driving in New York. I just don't think that, like, I just think because of our work situation over here, because we're in two different work elements, that it's so hard for us to even like go out of our way to, like, let's say we wanted to take that 10-minute drive down to Venice and walk around Venice Beach. That would be nice of itself, but
Venice is so sus at night.
It is.
So it's like, you know, the vibe doesn't make me want to go because of how sus it gets.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we definitely could. It's just due to work situations or because how certain areas we're just not comfortable with. Probably because we're just not from here. So it just feels as if an outsider trying to take a stroll. It's not. We haven't accepted it as our home yet. And that really plays into, I would say, that separation that we're feeling.
Yeah, you know what's just so crazy? It's like, you know, I know New York City is such a big city, but like, you just get such small town vibes depending on what part of New York City you're from. So it's like, you know, you think about this whole time like, oh, I want to like see what it's like living outside of New York City. And so many people say that. And then it actually happens and you're like, damn, like I miss that street. Yeah. Like I miss like that store or something. Or like I miss having the easy convenience knowing that like if I want to be somewhere that I'm comforted and I feel like it's my safe space, like it's easy to go.
I feel that 100%. My safe space is at every gyro cart around New York City. Once I see a gyro cart, I feel right at home. And the fact that there is none out here, there's not a singular one. I think we've saw one, but it was like a shawarma dude. But
no, like there's like a one place here. It's like called New York Chicken and gyro or something.
But it didn't hit the same.
Yeah, it's definitely it's not good here.
I mean, those are my safe spaces. That's literally, I would say, my second home kind of thing. But aside from, you know, being depressed all week, you did had a little highlight. You got featured on a Bollywood tabloid.
That was so random. Imagine just like waking up and then someone on Instagram DMs you and sends you like a video that like you were featured on a Bollywood tabloid, like right under Myra Khan's wedding.
You made it. You made it to a Bollywood tabloid.
It was so unnecessary. It was so unnecessary. Such a strange article that was.
You can check the box.
Basically, the article was like how like I gave a sassy response after people were fat shaming me on my dancing video. Like,
the way they worded it.
Yeah, the way they worded it was so
really weird. Obviously it's a tabloid, so they're gonna try to get the most clickbaity headline in there.
Exactly.
I did notice that though in the article they were cheering or rooting for you.
Yeah,
so
that was the thing.
Just weird.
So they weren't like bashing me though. That's the craziest part. They weren't bashing me. They were in support of me. But the way they worded it was very clickbaity. It was giving hella auntie vibes. Like
it was.
But when they were talking about like the details of my dress, they were so like descriptive. I was like, damn, okay, like she knows exactly what she's talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And did you even know half those details? It was crazy the amount of details she was putting into that article.
Yeah. So that was a little funny tidbit. And like it's interesting because a lot of people do ask me, do a lot of the social media comments ever affect me? And no, they don't really, because like I've just been bashed at such a young age for so long from like the closest family members that someone online is never going to affect how I feel about myself. Like, like I am the biggest self-critic of myself. So it's like, if I feel something about myself, then I'm going to get myself down. But like I don't think anyone ever has that power over me to like make me feel a certain type of way.
I don't think they have that power over you either, but I do feel that once in a while, if you get a flood of comments all at once, then it does make you rethink for a second why are they going so hard for like a split second. So I would say overall you're very strong when it comes to that, but you also have your times where okay, they're doing a little too much right now.
But it's like a split second though. It's like just like a thought. It's not like it's in my head throughout the day. Yeah, definitely. And I think like if you are going to be like a public figure or you're trying to make like social media videos and stuff like that, like you need to have thick skin. Like you definitely need to. But also like I've been in so many situations where I needed to have thick skin in general. So like it's always one thing has always prepared me for what it is.
Do you think that creating videos and being critiqued or criticized, does it like change your viewpoints ever, or do you stick by whatever you like? So let's say you go through a video, like you make a video, and then you see a bunch of comments that are either criticizing or they have the opposite opinion of yours. Do you think that changes your opinion by any chance?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to stand by your words, I would say. That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, if I did feel something I said was wrong or someone educated me on something, I do acknowledge. Like there have been so many times where like someone will privately message me and say like, hey, like I kind of don't agree with your views here, or like I don't agree with or whatever you said, like let me break it down for you. Like I always acknowledge it, and like when I do want to change whatever opinion, like I do acknowledge that part, but you know, how do you deal with my negative comments? Like how, because I feel like as a man, like if I'm seeing my wife get berated online or just get bashed or just like bashed, like there was like that one comment. Remember, there was that one comment where it was like, my wife's chicken tikka masala looks better than yours. Like how do you deal with comments like as my husband?
Honestly,
because you never respond.
I don't respond.
So like how do you deal with that?
The reason is because a lot of the comments are so ridiculous, and I know as a man that they don't affect me and they don't affect you. Like they're ridiculous comments. So I'm not going to let it eat away at either of us. I'm not going to give it any energy, especially the ones that like come after you in so many different ways.
Yeah.
So many different ways. I see you responding to them, and
Yeah,
even
sometimes I'd be fighting.
Yeah, and even then, I know you'll hear me say, "Why are you giving them energy?" You know, and
Because sometimes I feel like you need to put them on blast because,
of course,
like my whole thing is like you got the balls to say this to me online, then like then deal with me sharing it.
Yeah,
Let me
definitely.
like deal with me like calling you out on it. You want to go ahead, take the time out of your day, write your little paragraph. Okay, I'm gonna just screenshot that and then put it right there.
As you should. And I feel it's just because I don't make content like you do.
Yeah.
That I don't really have that same energy. For me, it's better to not even give that energy to the haters. It's not even to.
I definitely thought like that before I started making content. But then like when I started seeing the way like how some men would write stuff about like women's bodies or like how
no,
like
that's disgusting.
How they like don't acknowledge like some of the struggles that like South Asian girls can go through or like what it's like being in a toxic household or in a toxic partnership. That's where I feel like I have a duty to like speak up and be like and call them out on it, because like why do you think it's okay to say these things? Like it's not saying it about me specifically, it's like you as a person, like why do you feel like it's okay to say that? So it's like if I respond to a comment, it's not because I'm personally being affected. It's more of like, how can you as a person think it's okay to be saying these kind of things?
Yeah. I think also just because of some haters, they like in that form where they'll talk about women's bodies or, you know, undermine your values or opinions or whatever it is. That's definitely a response that needs to be given, but I'm not going to give that response because it's more powerful when it comes from you. Yeah. Like I'm not going to be the one fighting them in the comments.
It would be so weird if I like found you just like fighting with people. It's like, why are you fighting? We laugh about it. We like share. We used to like in my earlier TikTok days, you would gather up all the comments of like multiple videos, and then obviously we weren't living together, so like every night on the phone, like he'll read to me like the most ridiculous comment, and then we'll like start laughing about it. Like that was like our bit. Like at the end of the week, we do a comment roundup.
Yeah. No, shout out to your number one hater from back in the day, Jamila.
Yo, she's the one who launched this career, honestly.
She really did. But also, I feel like, you know, if they said any of those comments to you in person,
they wouldn't.
And, you know, like, no, like, let's just say then it's my duty to come up to them and be like, hold up, what did you just say? You know, then I'm going to take a much more, I wouldn't say aggressive stance or anything, but more of, that's my wife. Yeah. You know, you gotta back off, you gotta chill out. Whatever needs to be said in that situation or however it needs to be handled. But online, it's just like, you're just a keyboard warrior.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all you are.
Yeah.
So back to how you really are, how you've really been feeling depressed. How do you go through the day-to-day nowadays, just feeling so off, so out of the wave?
Whenever the days I feel really, really down, if I have no energy on making content, like I would suggest us to like go somewhere. Just even like Trader Joe's or something, you know, just something really small like that, or just like somewhere by the water.
You love grocery shopping. So
I love grocery shopping. Like if I can do grocery shopping as a full-time job and get paid for it, I would do that forever.
Definitely.
Like it's so fun.
I just see you just reading the ingredients behind every little knick-knack or bottle or whatever it is.
You know, with one of my first ever friend trips, I taught all my friends how to grocery shop, like properly grocery shop. And when I mean properly grocery shop, it's like you see how when you go to a store and like on the tags below it'll be like sale, or it'll be like a discount like 2 to 5, or like say you have the same products and you're trying to figure out which sale is better. Like I'm the one showing them the calculations of how many ounces is worth how many dollars. Listen, I'm bad at math, but when it comes to grocery store shopping, I've become a math wizard.
You know what's so annoying? I can't go on a guys trip or like a weekend away with the guys where we go to Walmart and we try to gather up groceries for, let's say we got an Airbnb or whatever it is, and all the guys, they'll be picking up snacks and whatever, and they'll be getting all the junk food, and I'm like, wow, like we really can't, like you really changed my perspective. Okay, I'm like, okay, where's the eggs at?
Yeah, because if you go on vacation with me, you will never suffer. Like I know, like being a type A like personality on a trip can be could be exhausting sometimes.
Yeah.
But you will never suffer. You will have everything planned out for you. Like I'm not saying like your activities wise, but just the comfortability of your stay. You'll never go hungry.
Yeah. So, okay, so you like to go grocery shopping. What else?
I'll call like some of my friends from New York just to talk shit.
Oh, yeah. You guys be doing that a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
not
that's
a lot, but
okay,
like not call, but like texting. I do a lot of texting.
I think that's honestly one of the best ways, just to be around friends or talk to friends or just communicate with friends. You know, me being out here in LA myself, I don't have any guy friends really to go and hang out with. Yeah. So just that little text message that I have with them throughout the days, you know, like, oh, we have a little combo here and there. Yeah. That's just what's really been getting me through everything, and how I've been trying to get myself to be more social, especially when you're more of an adult. It's so hard to make friends, working from home and just being in your own pace and doing your daily routine. It's really hard to make new friends.
Yeah, shout out to my girl Samiha, because she gets me out of the house. She does. She really gets me out of the house, and I appreciate that so much, because if you're not asking me to come out, I'm not coming out. So I really appreciate her friendship, and having us like do things together.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's just how I've been dealing with it, and then you've been dealing with it. Also, I think just really going through the motions out here. For me personally, it's been a little bit lonely, and I don't, you know, it's like we're newly married. Yeah. And you want to be with your partner all the time. Yeah. 24/7, of course.
But we're living together.
Yeah, but we live together, and we both work from home.
And we're not seeing our retrospective friend groups.
Yeah, and we don't see our friend groups like that at all.
Well, because they're not here, so we're not seeing them at all.
Yeah, so just us being together all day long, it's a good thing, but at the same time, there are moments where I feel like, oh wow, I wish I had the guys to be around with tonight. Or you would be like, oh, I wish or you would be like, oh, I wish the girls were around so I could hang out with them or chill. And that those little social moments really allow you to take a breath away from all the toxicity that's building up inside of you.
Yeah, you like your own individual mental thing that's going on.
Yeah, maybe you can talk it out with them. You know, you can talk with your friends, obviously, about anything, especially your closest friends. They know your secrets, so they know your conversations. They know how you are, and it's easiest to be around with them.
So I guess, in your opinion, I'm very vocal about how I feel. And I feel like a lot more women are more vocal about how they feel emotionally, like within their own retrospective friend groups. But I feel like with guys, like, you guys aren't really talking about so much on how you guys feel. And I feel like with mental health and like Desi men in general, you're not really like encouraged on speaking about how you feel or like what you're going through. So how do you kind of navigate about being a Desi man, in the mental health aspect of it? Like, how are you so positive? Because like, this man is the most positive human being I've ever seen in my life, and it's so confusing because like, I'm not like that. I'm like the complete opposite, and you are just like the most positive human being. Like, how are you doing this? Because you be taking a lot of L's in life.
I be taking a lot of L's, that's for sure.
So like, how do you stay so positive?
Well, there's a lot all packed into that. I'll start off with how I'm always so positive, and that's honestly because of my humble backgrounds. You know, I come from a family that literally immigrated from a village in Pakistan to coming to New York and going through living in a one-bedroom apartment, and just literally grinding day in and day out, just to get to where we are today as a family. And so because of those humble backgrounds, it really just allows me to grow as an individual, because coming from living through what I've lived through and what so many other immigrant families go through, it really allows you to take the world in a different perspective. You don't take things for granted. You acknowledge a lot of what you have, and you take pride in that, and you're happy with that. And even though I get tossed around or take L's in whichever way, it doesn't put me down. It actually makes me want to keep going.
Wow.
It makes me want to keep fighting or for what I want, or doing what I need to do for my family, because they've been there for me in those times. And in a mental health aspect, I would say it's really hard to talk about that in a Desi man aspect, because Desi men, they don't talk about their feelings.
Yeah.
Even right now, me just talking about this with you, it's already difficult to talk about, because we don't sit together in groups and talk about our emotions. It's very rare for a group of Desi men to come together and really talk about their emotions.
Yeah, but why?
I think maybe it stems from your parents suppressing their feelings. Maybe it stems from that. Like we see our fathers suppressing their emotions because they need to suppress themselves. They feel that they need to suppress their emotions to get all the family situated, to make sure that the family is thriving. So they feel that this sacrifice, it may not be a sacrifice in their mind, but it's what's allowing for the family to grow. And so then we, as in turn, we look at that and we push down our emotions and our feelings. That could be one thing. Another thing is that we just try to ignore it. We think that talking about your emotions may come off in a more, honestly, in the most blunt way possible. It may come off as girly or womanly, or you're not a man for talking about your emotions. You know, so nowadays I feel with my friend group in particular, especially with a few of my friends, what we've been doing is, when we're just around each other, is to honestly ask ourselves, how are you doing?
Yeah, because I feel like men really get ignored in this conversation sometimes.
They do. And I think also in my personal aspect, you know, I'm the oldest son, so I do take on a huge responsibility for my family.
You do.
Whether that's as an older brother or a caretaker or just a guardian or a supporter. I have to be there for my parents for whatever they need me for, and I have to be there for my siblings for whatever they need me for.
And that's a lot of pressure. Like, you being the oldest son, there's so much, like, pressure and responsibility with the family. And then on top of that, when you choose to get married, like, you have another person as kind of like a responsibility too. Like, how do you kind of deal with that? Because it just feels very, like, overwhelming. Because, like, honestly, like, I do also have some sense of responsibility over my family, but I think, like, you know, they also understand, and I think this is kind of like the standard for Desi families. Like, it's expected that the daughter, when she gets married, like, she kind of goes into another family, I guess. So it's like maybe they've already, like, mentally prepared themselves that they're gonna be kind of, like, solo, and then when we were getting married, like, it just hit them too hard. Like, oh shit, like, that's kind of crazy.
Honestly, I just go through what I have to do for the day, and I try not to let it fester up. And I think that's maybe one of the issues that we all face as Desi men in our society today, is that we just bottle it all up.
Yeah, stop bottling.
Yeah, we bottle it all up.
No more bottling. No more. We're all going to talk about our feelings. Next time I see your friends, I'm going to be like, how do you feel? Tell me.
Yeah, and they're going to be like, I'm good. I'm good, bro. What's she on about?
Yo, bro, your girl's a little weird.
But yeah, you know, I like to go to the gym a lot.
Yeah.
And that's my sort of, I would say, therapy in a way.
Yeah.
You know, when I go to the gym, it's just me and myself, and and pushing the weights. It really allows for me to just get rid of everything.
Yeah.
Clear my head, lifting weights or doing cardio, whatever it is. It really just allows me to become one with myself in a corny way. But at the same time, it's not really corny because it's true. You know, that little moment of time with yourself is really necessary. So going to the gym is really one of my favorite things.
Okay, cool. Well, real quick, what are your opinions about therapy? Have you ever gone to any type of therapy or any type of counseling?
No, I haven't gone to any. How about you?
Yeah, I have.
And how did that go?
Obviously, I didn't tell my parents about it. But yeah, I've been to therapy. I don't know. I would say, like, I think depending on how you feel at the moment, it could be helpful. But also when I was going through therapy, I did have, like, my therapist was a white woman. So a lot of the things that I was feeling in my day-to-day, like, how I felt, like, as a Desi girl, like, it just wasn't being translated, because I would be like, I just feel so suffocated in the house, and she'll be like, well, maybe you need to remove yourself from that situation. And I'd be like, okay, but it's not that easy, because I feel like as a Desi woman, Desi girl, like, there are so many expectations where if you try to, like, talk about how you're feeling, like, you're suppressed immediately, because it comes off as combative, or it comes off that you're not being a good daughter because you're not listening to your parents, or you're just, like, acting out, you know, when it's like, I'm not acting out, I'm just trying to tell you how I feel. And then whenever I tell you how I feel, you kind of put me down about it, when I'm just trying to express to you. So, like, I think for me, like, when it came to expressing myself, like, that's why I had to resort to an external factor of a therapist, because I felt like I was never being heard. I think you know, I felt the same way with parents not acknowledging really your emotions or your feelings. I mean, they see what you go through on a day-to-day, but they don't really know the true nature or the true, I would say, bubble that's just building up and really putting you into this dark spot. What do you think? Do you think Desi parents really try to it's not like they try to ignore those feelings of their children or their kids, but what do you think? Is this a universal thing? I just think they don't know how to process their own emotions themselves, because they were never taught how to process their emotions. And then when you have a child that's, like, trying to explain how they feel, they're taking it as disrespect immediately. They do. Because it's just like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I want you to hear me. Yeah. Because you can't tell me, like, you want me to treat you with respect when I'm being put down 24/7. And I just feel like there's just so many expectations, like, as a Desi girl, like, it's just so exhausting that, like, you need to be a certain body weight. Your skin can't be too dark. Like, you need to have a career. And if you don't have a career, you need to get a master's or a PhD. And then if you're going to school too much, if you're going to having your master's or a PhD, or you're going to medical school, why are you in school so long? You should be getting married and having kids. Like, it's just like, there's just no winning sometimes. So that's why it just always feels like you're fighting a battle that's just like a never ending battle. And I knew, like, even when I got married, like, the battle was just never over. Like, the battle just changes. And it's like, it happens just within the society because of the people that we're around right now. But I'm really hoping, like, in the future, like, when I'm 75, like, I want everyone around my circle to feel the most supportive they can be, because it's like I would never want to be like putting down how I was put down for like majority of my life.
I think Desi girls and they do go through this pressure of just nonstop one thing after another, and Desi guys, they go through their own thing. But on the Desi girl subject for a second, that really, that just one thing after another, really, you got to go to school, you got to be educated, now you got to be married right after you graduate. Oh, you got married? Where are your kids at?
No, literally, I could tell you like the whole timeline of expectations of me being a kid. Okay, why am I not skinny? Why am I not like going outside and doing these things? Okay, that's one expectation. When I'm in high school, why am I not getting into an Ivy League? When I'm in college, why am I not looking for someone to get married? Why am I not being okay with getting married? And I was accomplishing so many things. I've accomplished so many things that like the average person has not ever accomplished in their life, from like gathering like internships from like the top companies in this world without like any connections, like putting myself out there, like doing so much. And it's just, I've never been acknowledged because I wasn't married, so I was never as equal to them. But then as soon as like I started literally social media and people started seeing like my shit, like my parents have started seeing like my credentials out there, that's when it kind of made sense to them, like, oh, I guess she knows what she's doing. So it's just exhausting. It's really hard.
It is really exhausting. As I was growing up, you know, my parents really had this strict agenda of me becoming a doctor, for example. And it's not that they really wanted me to become a doctor, in my opinion, more for society rather than for my own personal growth, which led to them, oh, okay, you gotta have straight A's. You gotta have straight A's here. You gotta have straight A's there. Oh, what are you doing? Do you watch TV for 20 minutes? What are you talking about? You see the family over there, Mr. Chaudhary's family, their kids, they don't got TV.
Or
they don't got video games. They don't be playing games like you all day.
They're
top of the class.
Their daughter just got into medical school. What do you want me to do with that information? Just because like they got into medical school, that does not invalidate what I was trying to do in life, you know?
Exactly. And I definitely think that while I was in college, and that first year where I didn't do so well, it was literally because I didn't want to be a doctor. I didn't want to go down this route, which I felt so uncomfortable about. Like, it's not even something that I was interested in like that. I went through the motions beforehand, but it's not for everybody. And you shouldn't be, I feel like, restricted to being a doctor, engineer, lawyer.
We're going to talk about the career stuff in a different episode.
Of course, though, but I think I definitely think that does play into the mental health of
definitely the expectations of education. And I get it, like, you know, you came to, as a parent, like, you came into this country and the doctor, lawyer, engineer is like the typical thing that kind of equates to American success and equates to like just financial freedom too for them. But I think now we're in an era where we're lucky to be in this era right now, that there are so many things that we can do that kind of reflects that. It's more about the family dynamics that we're in and like how Desi society kind of progresses, how that's going to change. And I'm excited to see how that changes, because I think right now we're slowly starting to see that.
Well, this was a very, I would say, heavy episode, and just a few of the things that we talked about mental health. And I think we're definitely going to go down and talking about all the different aspects and notes. And just once we get all your guys' comments and they start to flood in, and we can really get into the nitty gritty of some detailed aspects of being in the Desi community and the Desi society as a whole, and the mental health that we face.
And I'm excited for change. Like I said, I'm excited for change because change kind of relies within us. Even the way that you're feeling right now, feeling something different, that's a change already. So Yeah, just keep talking about how you feel. Listen, have that support system because that's important.
Definitely. Whether that's family or friends, definitely reach out to somebody just so you have that support. We also are going to have a bunch of resources listed just so you guys can go through them if you need that support. If
Any
you need
mental
some
health resources, we're going to have it listed for you. That could help you, that could help a friend, but just know that you're being supported. We get it, we feel it. It's time to acknowledge it.
Yeah. I'm Furkan.
And I'm Shampa.
And this is the Coffee versus Chai podcast.
Okay, see you next time.
Peace.